guys, how you doing? I hope everything is well. Everything is good with me. Y'all, let me just tell you about my hand first. Like, okay, I said this the other day because it happened last week. I was delivering somebody's package to them, and me being nice because I didn't want nobody to steal their package. So the person lived way upstairs, like on a 20-something floor. So I was nice enough to bring the package upstairs. So when when I got upstairs, they wasn't home. So I didn't want the elevator to leave me. So when you wave your hand, the elevator is supposed to open. From the sensor, it's supposed to open. So it did do it the first time. So when I knocked again, I didn't want the elevator to leave me. I did it again. So when I did it again, I don't know. Maybe I froze. I really don't know what happened. When I did it again, it didn't do it. So I'm still going, because I don't want to walk down 21 flights. Like, that's just crazy. So I'm still going like this, but the elevator just went real fast and it slammed my hand in there. So now I'm on the floor. I'm on the floor kicking the elevator, trying to get my hand out because my hand is in the elevator. Like, this is crazy. Like, oh my God. So I finally got my hand out. So when I got my hand out, I was like, it went down. The elevator went down. So y'all already know that I would have lost all this. All of this would have been gone, y'all. So I got in the next elevator and went downstairs. It was like, I told my husband what happened. I was just like, he was like, what? I'm like, yeah. So I went in there and laid down. I was like, yo, this is, my hand is hurting. So he's like, get up and go and tell. So I went downstairs. I told the management, and then he was hysterical. He was just like, oh my God. So he saw the video and he was like, oh, go now to the doctors. I had to fill out the report and go to the doctor. And when I got there, my hand was swollen, and I thought, like, maybe just because it just smashed, it didn't smashed it. I mean, it smashed it, but I didn't know to the extent. So I didn't really, like, paid any mind, like, but my hand was still swollen. So, like, a couple of days later, I'm figuring that it gonna get better. Like, it was just slammed, in the elevator. So I realized my hand is getting bigger, y'all. I'm like, yo, what is this? And on my thumb, the bone is sticking out. The bone is out. That's why I wasn't making any videos, because I couldn't. I was in so much pain with my hand, like I couldn't use it. So tomorrow I have to go to an orthopedic, for my hand to find out, make sure no nerve damage is done or anything like that, because my hand is swollen, and then the lump, and then, if I go to grab something, it hurt. Like, it hurt for real. But anyway, y'all, I'm okay. Let me just tell y'all this story real quick, and I'm going to show you the video. In Highland Park in Detroit, it's this Officer Parker, doing too damn much, y'all. This officer is literally just going around being a menace. Like, a menace for real. So what happened was, like, whoever he feel like he want to mess with, he just mess with them. Like, he just feel he can do that. I don't understand what his damn problem is, but a police like him is why people don't like police, because of him. Like, for real, people like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, a person like him. So anyway, I was watching the video, and him and this here homeless guy, he told the homeless guy he need to move. Like, for what? Like, the dude wasn't, like, doing anything. Like, he wasn't doing anything bad or anything like that. He's just there. So him and the homeless guy started, saying things back and forth with each other. So he said, F you. He was like, F you too. Now, this is a police talking to this guy, and the guy's talking to the police. So he was like, this is why people don't like police, because people like, police like you, which is true. So He was like, F your, he said, man, F you and your family like that. Do you know what that officer said? Player said, I'll F your child. I'll F your child? Okay. So anyway, Officer Player, the guy was like, you know what? The homeless guy. I mean, he was like, you know what? I'm done with you. So he just walked on. But no, creepy Mr. Player is tiptoeing behind him with the taser, and the young man, the guy noticed it. He was like, oh snap. So Mr. Player just threw him. So when he threw him against the wall, his head said boom, and he was out. Like, we don't even know, like, he dead. I'm like, oh my goodness, I think he dead, y'all. I think he dead. Oh my God, you could see they even do it in slow motion, where you could see how his head just said boom, and he was out. Now, another officer came, and he is telling, yo man, get up. Yo, bro, what you mean, yo man, get up? No, you crack boy head, like, for real. But anyway, he did get up. Thank God. Thank God. Nothing happened out of that, y'all. They did get in touch with, I think the guy did get in touch with the district attorney or something like that. So they didn't fire him or anything. What they did was play games. They sent him to the fire department. I don't even know, like, what the fire department got to do with the police. I really don't understand that one. I'm going to show it to y'all. So now, he's a police again. A year later, up the block. Yeah, playing games. So now, it's a gentleman that's in an 18-wheeler. So he's telling the gentleman in the 18, is a white guy, Caucasian guy. So he's telling the guy to open the door. The guy was like, I'm not opening my door. Like, what you doing right now? Like, what? What is going on? So when he opens the guy's door and slings homie out of the car, out of the bed of the car, the bed of the truck, he takes out, y'all already know, the taser, and it's raining too, y'all. So he on the ground screaming, like, oh my God. He just kept tasing him. Tasing him for what? He's not resisting. What is going on? What are you doing, bro? Like, what is this here? But it shows you police like him give police bad names. You understand what I'm saying? And thank God, I think he got fired. I didn't see the whole video. I said, well, I'll watch it with you and see what the hell happened to Mr. Player. Because Mr. Player was playing too much. He was playing too much, y'all. Like, that was crazy. I mean, him and his taser, like, the taser was like his best friend. And he was doing it, like, for no reason. It was like, you going out tasing people for no reason. For what? What you doing all that for? But it's really heartbreaking to see, like, police get away with crap like that. They literally gave him an award, like, and y'all knew that he had a bad record. Like, they don't care. Like, they knew he had a bad record. But anyway, y'all comment and tell me how y'all feel about this video, because to me it's crazy. I mean, this is just a mess. This is a mess. He should have been reprimanded from the first young man that he hit his head and passed out, knocked him out. You know what I'm saying? You can see it. I'm gonna show y'all. But anyway, y'all, in the comments, let me know how y'all feel about this, because this is crazy. I just feel like, this is what give police officers bad names. And like I told y'all, I have family as police officers, and this ain't it. This here is not it. This guy is very, very scary. And we're just looking at some of the things they did. Just imagine what Mr. Player was doing all these years. They really probably have to investigate this guy. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to show y'all the video, okay, y'all? Oh, y'all, my head. Hit that like button and subscribe, because I'm not going to come back. Y'all just get in the comments or whatever and say what you need to say. All right, y'all? I got to use my hair, y'all. All right, hold on.
Have revealed how police officers with checkered pasts have been able to avoid accountability. Some finding a second or third act in the new departments just down the road. It's not supposed to work that way, but as 7 investigator Ross Jones has been showing us for months now, it is happening far too often. Well, tonight, his latest example, how one police department covered up an officer's misconduct, allowing him to do it again with horrifying consequences.
They say history doesn't repeat itself, but sometimes it rhymes.
The incident was similar. It involved a taser, it involved excessive force.
This is the story of how one police department's decision to keep an officer's misconduct quiet allowed him to inflict even more pain just down the road.
Open the door, you get tased. Open the door, you get tased.
It cost taxpayers a fortune.
I've never had a single case resolve this quick.
Triggered criminal charges.
For the record, could you state your name? Name, clear.
And showed how ignoring police misconduct only makes it worse.
Boss man, you got a bounce.
On a rainy afternoon in May of 2020, Highland Park Public Safety Officer Damian Player is called to the Burger King along Woodward Avenue. He's working a police shift on this day, responding to a call of a man loitering outside the restaurant.
Man, what part of leave do you not understand?
The man, who police would later suspect was homeless, ignored the officer's commands. So, from the front seat of his police car, Officer Player does what department policy says he shouldn't. He pulls out his taser and takes aim. The taser didn't take effect, so Player gets out of his vehicle and begins following the man, who starts to cross the street while hurling expletives.
You know why I say the police? Because of you. Come over here and do my thing.
Before long, Officer Player joins in with name-calling of his own, at one point calling the man a homophobic slur.
Go about your business, sissy. Your child, yo.
After trading insults, both men appear to walk away. But just as it seems things are coming to an end, Officer Player turns around and follows the man again. He briefly assumes a fighting stance before turning around and walking away. Then watch this. With the man's back facing the officer, Player deploys his taser again, then takes the man to the ground. Watch the video again. As Player takes the man down, he strikes his head hard on a concrete building, then lays motionless on the wet pavement. The man appears unconscious, even as Player tries to wake him.
Yo, what you got, man?
What does it say to you that Officer Player tased the man while he had his back to him?
In this case, it wasn't appropriate. The taser should not have been utilized in that instant.
James McMahon was a sergeant with Highland Park PD at the time of the incident.
It's a scary situation. Someone just hit their head. It's not a situation where we should have been involved in that. It's disappointing. I mean, that individual didn't deserve that.
The man would eventually regain consciousness and was taken by ambulance to a hospital. An internal affairs investigation concluded that Officer Player violated the department's code of conduct and taser policy.
Was Officer Player disciplined for this?
Other than removed from police services? No. The legal department just removed him from police services but allowed him to work fire department.
So the solution to this misconduct was to take a police officer and turn him into a full-time firefighter.
Correct.
McMahon says Player's discipline was handled by then City Attorney Terry Ford, who, he said, pushed to suspend, not terminate Player, and remove him from the police services in Highland Park. And, he said, Player got one more break, too.
Was this referred to the prosecutor?
It was not.
Should it have been?
It would be today.
Next, Police Officer Damian Player.
The following year, Officer Player would join the Warren Police Department. And there to pin his new badge to his chest was then Highland Park Police Chief Kevin Coney.
Hopefully I can represent the city well, my family well.
But less than 2 years later,
Open the door, you get tased. Open the door now.
Officer Player and his partner would be involved in this traffic stop, pulling this truck driver out of his vehicle. His partner threw him to the ground in the rain, as Player tased him repeatedly. Making matters worse, it all happened in centerline, outside of the officer's jurisdiction. The man was charged with nothing, but the officer's conduct was so egregious that the city of Warren paid out a $400,000 settlement barely a month later. Player and his partner were charged with assault and then fired.
From what I know about Damian Player, he's not a bad police officer.
Kevin Coney told us he didn't remember almost anything about Damian Player's tasing in Highland Park, even though that's Coney responding to the scene that day where Player told him this.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, right? My heart stopped when I thought you that man.
Coney was fire chief at the time and would be appointed police chief weeks later. This July memo about Player's misconduct said he dangerously escalated the situation, causing injury to the subject of the investigation. These actions could place the city in a position of civil jeopardy and should not be brushed aside lightly, the memo said. It was made out to Kevin Coney.
You were aware of it. Okay, that's what you say.
Your name's on the memo.
Okay, that don't mean that I knew about it was in his personnel file.
Do you read your memos?
Sometimes I do.
It recommended a 30-day suspension for Player and training in de-escalation techniques, but we couldn't find evidence he received either. The memo was never shared with Warren PD when they came to review Player's personnel file, and according to their background investigation, Chief Coney gave his officer a clean bill of health. He had no issues with Player, an investigator wrote, and there was no discipline in his file. In fact, when Player left Highland Park PD, Chief Coney reported he departed in good standing.
3 years later, he was criminally charged over the very same type of conduct that Highland Park helped to conceal.
Highland Park didn't don't keep. Okay, if that's your word, it just wasn't dealt with.
It was never shared with the department that hired him.
Okay.
Damian Player and his partner are next due in court on July 11th. Player faces 2 felonies and up to 5 years in prison.
If this had been done correctly in Highland Park, does Damian Player get a chance to assault a man with the Warren Police Department?
Not likely.
Well, in a statement, Warren Police told me they would have never hired Damian Player had they known what we just revealed. Kevin Coney left Highland Park in 2021. He insists today that while he was chief, he was really just a figurehead who answered to then City Attorney Terry Ford. Ford did not return our repeated calls, texts, and emails seeking comment. James McMahon is now the chief in Highland Park, appointed by new Mayor Glenda McDonald last year. To her credit, Mayor McDonald overruled her own attorney's advice and released the body cam video we just showed you. Both Mayor McDonald and Chief McMahon say that the video is ugly, but that citizens deserved to see it. And I think that's a very important step here. They say they're a much more transparent department. They're holding officers accountable. This is a good demonstration that that's the case. But obviously, this was an ugly scene that was kept hidden from his next department.
And so the next step you just mentioned for Player?
He's facing a number of felonies, as is his partner. They're going to be back in court in July, and we'll see what happens with that.